have to get rid of these Marines and hopefully these SCVs so we can stop these bunkers from producing. If we don't pull these drones, we more than likely will lose the game. If we can micro them back so we don't lose any, well, that would be great. That would be ideal, so chances are you won't be able to get away from this completely scot-free, but if we can do as good of a job microing as possible, that would be great. But notice the whole time we've just been trying to deny Marines entry into the bunkers. We have let one in, but the whole time we have been making Zerglings as well. And now that we have both of the bunkers down, we're just going to send our drones back to mining, and we have a sufficient amount of Zerglings to be able to defend. Now, let's back up to this point where the bunkers are just about to go down here. Notice we were going to throw down 2 spine crawlers, but the smarter thing to do would have been to throw down maybe one back here so that it could barely reach, and then be able to use the rest of our drones to be aggressive. But throwing down 2 would have been a waste because we wouldn't have the amount of drones to be able to keep Marines out of the bunkers, and therefore the bunkers would have killed our spine crawlers anyway. So just trying to micro around and getting surrounds with the Marines will be the best shot. So let's go back to about where we were. Just going to be about the 5-minute mark. You can speed this up a little bit here. And we were just chasing our opponent. Now from here we can do either one of 2 things. We can be super aggressive and try to end the game, possibly with a huge baneling bust. Or we could even try to just macro back up, which is definitely going to be the safer thing. However, our opponent, upon returning to his base, had left his supply depot lowered, so we are going to take advantage of this. And from here, you can see that we can just have free reign over his base. But the main thing we want to take away from this is that when our opponent does go for this bunker rush and it does fail, he will almost always just start taking out more barracks to be able to defend a command center that he is going to put down. So the standard transition is what we are going to learn will almost always be more barracks and a expansion to go with it, because we are going to be probably just about equal, if not ahead, in drone count after he does fail this. So what he'll want to do is try to get ahead of us and go for that expansion. Now, we have been very lucky in that we were able to get into his base this easily. And from here the game is just about over. So what we're going to do is just keep on tacking Zerglings onto this play. And we did start getting gas in the meantime. We tried to start bringing this game a little bit back to normalcy as far as a little bit of the macro goes. But in reality, we are just going to wither away our opponent. He has let us into his base, which is a fatal flaw as a Terran. And we will eventually be able to win this game. We can speed that up. And we can see that after this failed bunker rush, our opponent's not going to be in such good as shape as he would like to be, and eventually will call good game. Now hopefully you can try to fall back into a macro game after you get rid of this aggression, but if your opponent does leave an opening like this, you do have to take advantage of this. So hopefully this anti-cheese will be able to put into your play and you can improve your win rate. This is Starcraft 2 Supremacy Guide Videos signing out. Hello everybody, and welcome to another Starcraft 2 Supremacy Guide video. In this replay, we'll be going over how to counter a bunker rush from a Terran opponent. Let's go ahead and get started. And as far as build orders go, we're going to be going for a pretty standard build here, just to show you how you would counter such an aggression if you were caught off guard. Let's go ahead and speed this up just a tiny bit so we can go through things, but still be able to get to the juicy part of this lesson, which is going to be the actual bunker rush itself. Now, when we are going to be bunker rushed, 99% of the time our opponent will be going for 2 barracks, and from there he can pump out a great deal of Marines very quickly, and therefore load his bunker, and more importantly, defend them very easily when he is building them in front of our hatchery or at the bottom of our ramp. See, our opponent's throwing his down at about 12, and we'll be throwing down the second one falling at about 14. So right about when we throw down our expansion at 15, very standard build against Terran, he will be throwing down his second barracks, and it looks like our spawning pool is now going up at about 15 following our hatchery. And when our opponent makes his first Marines, he will be heading out. And here comes some pretty important information. Now we see that he has sent over his SCV, and we really want to keep an eye on this SCV and any more units that do come in. Now notice where we have placed our Overlord. It spans with its vision just about everything, so we can see just about any unit that will pass by here. And when we see a second SCV, that's when we want to be super suspicious. Of course, when we do see the two barracks, we'll be almost positive that he's going for this early aggression. Now, the thing that we need to do right away when we see these bunkers go down is we are going to need to pull drones, and that for that reason we are going to be losing a little bit of mining time, but we